So we're in week 6 and it's time to start the final assemblage of our ideas into a larger piece of music. So I've made a new Sibelius file and I've finalised my instruments choices and I've put in the title and the composer, which are in the text menu. I usually just right click because most of the things you want are in here. And now I want to go and look at all my other files. Just simply have multiple files open. So I've been keeping most of my ideas in this file, in the versions, as you can see here. So I can easily view them and copy and paste them over to my next example. The only bad thing I didn't do is that I didn't make comments on all of them, which I recommend for the future. What I have to think about first is my original inspiration. So I've changed my haiku and my new one is "The cool breeze, twisted and crooked, then came here." So like most haiku, it's got a sense of more drama in the middle and a sense of resolution at the end. And so that leads us into this idea of what structure we should use. So almost all music has a beginning, middle and end and moves to some sort of climax in Western culture. So some of these pictures in the Elements of Music one note are also drama examples, because things that happen in time, like parties or concerts or life itself, tends to follow this same narrative structure of rising action, climax, and then falling action. So in music, there are a number of forms that show this same shape. The one I'm suggesting to you is called arch form. It's a version of ternary form, and one of the challenges is to achieve this sense of beginning, middle, and end while balancing the horizontal and vertical aspects. So if you think of structure as what happens through time, which goes from left to right on this picture, and texture is what's happening at any given moment. It's vertical, how many layers there are and how they work together. So this is a PowerPoint I made for another Year 9 assignment years ago, but it's very similar in basic shape to the assignment we're doing now, because we want a beginning and end which are less interesting and more similar to each other, and a middle section which is more contrasting and more dramatic. We are not compulsorily using the A pentatonic scale. This image on the side is what I want you to look at. Build up some layers and gradually add new ideas until the main melody, which in your case you have written, and you want to make sure that you can tell who's playing the melody by making it clearly higher or lower than the other layers. And since we're having limited timbre choices, we might need to use dynamics or accents or articulation or rhythm to make the melody stand out. This picture is a little bit easier to understand in the sense that each section has a lot of things going on, but one of the things is more prominent than the other things at any given moment in time. Probably in the A sections it's the bananas that stick out, and in the middle section there's all this weird tropical fruit, but that big spiky thing at the end looks like it's the most noticeable thing sitting on the top of the pile. Then we want to get to an end where we thin out the texture, fade out the dynamics, and stop doing the main melodies, but we could have a few little fragments. So this is the point that you need to look at the material that you have written, and this is why I like to paste it in OneNote, because it's easier to just sort of view it visually. You can see I've got my two melodies, blue and green, in this set of pictures, and I've played around with a range of accompaniment ideas. And what I need to start doing is figure out how I'm going to start the piece, how I'm going to end it, and where these two main melodies will go, so that I can achieve this sense of build. So that my question to myself is, which of my two melodies is more dramatic? And I think that it's melody 2, because it goes higher and it's also louder and it's a bit more sort of rhythmically busy, whereas melody 1 has long rhythmic values in a few places and it's a bit more relaxed. So I think definitely I'll do melody 1 and then melody 2, but I need to be able to start my overall piece. So I need something light and accompanimental at the beginning, and I need 32 bars in total. I'm going to add in the home add multiple here. I've got 5 bars now, so I'm going to add in another 27 and go into landscape view, so I can sort of look at how long my piece is overall. Now you'll remember that Sibelius defaults to 100. So I want to Control Alt T, I believe, is tempo, and I want to choose a speed like Adagio. which I actually know from memory is crotchet equals 60. And if you don't like it, you can always change it. So in 32 bars, that's 4 lots of 8. So since both my melodies are 8 bars long, I could have an 8-bar introduction, present the 2 melodies, and have an 8-bar conclusion. Or I could have a shorter introduction, present a melody, have a little middle bridge section, present the next melody, and then have an ending bit.